I've been using the Apple AirPods Pro 3 for a while now, and I want to start this review the same way I approach every product, without hype, without pretending they're perfect, and without acting like Apple paid me to say nice things. Because the truth is, when Apple releases a new version of something as popular as the AirPods Pro, expectations are already sky high. Some people expect a massive revolution. Others expect absolutely nothing new and assume it's just a small upgrade with a higher price tag. And honestly, the reality is somewhere in the middle. The AirPods Pro 3 don't reinvent wireless earbuds. But they do refine an experience that was already very good, in ways that actually matter in daily use. So let's break it down like a normal person would. First impressions matter, and the moment you put these on, you immediately notice something Apple has always been very good at: comfort. They're light, they sit naturally in your ears, and they don't feel intrusive. Even after long listening sessions, they don't create the pressure or fatigue some earbuds do. This is one of those things that's hard to quantify on a spec sheet, but incredibly important in real life. If you wear earbuds for hours, during work, commuting, or calls, this alone is a huge reason why people keep coming back to AirPods. The fit is secure without being aggressive. I've used them while walking, moving around the house, and doing light workouts, and they stayed in place without constantly needing adjustment. The case also feels familiar but refined. Compact, solid, and very Apple-like. You're not getting a radical redesign here, but you're getting something that works and feels premium. Now let's talk about sound quality, because this is where a lot of people either fall in love or get disappointed. The AirPods Pro 3 sound very clean. Not exaggerated, not overly bass heavy, not artificial. The sound is balanced and controlled, with a slight warmth that makes music enjoyable without overpowering vocals or details. Bass is present, but it's tight, not boomy. You feel it, but it doesn't dominate the mix. Mids are clear, which makes podcasts, calls, and videos sound excellent. Vocals, especially, sound natural and easy to listen to. Highs are detailed without being sharp, which means you can listen at higher volumes without your ears getting tired. That's something Apple has consistently done well, and it continues here. Are these the best sounding earbuds on the market? No. Are they among the most pleasant to listen to for long periods? Absolutely. And that's an important distinction. Apple doesn't tune their earbuds to impress you in a 5-second demo. They tune them to sound good over hours of use. And once you realize that, the sound profile makes a lot of sense. Now let's talk about one of the strongest points of the AirPods Pro 3, active noise cancellation. This is where Apple continues to be one of the leaders. Noise cancellation here is excellent. It handles constant background noise incredibly well. Traffic, engines, fans, air conditioners, they all fade into the background almost instantly when ANC is turned on. What impressed me most is how natural it feels. There's no weird pressure sensation, no uncomfortable vacuum feeling. It just feels quieter. Is it perfect? No. Sudden, sharp noises still come through a bit. But for commuting, flying, or working in noisy environments, this is top-tier performance. Transparency mode is just as impressive. In fact, this is one area where Apple still feels ahead of most competitors. Voices sound real, not robotic. You can have conversations without taking the earbuds out, and you almost forget you're wearing them. This sounds like a small thing, but once you get used to a good transparency mode, it's hard to go back. Now let's talk about ecosystem, because this is where things get a bit more complicated, and where honesty really matters. If you're using an iPhone, the AirPods Pro 3 feel effortless. Pairing is instant. Switching between Apple devices is seamless. Controls are intuitive. Everything just works. This kind of integration is one of the main reasons people choose AirPods, and Apple knows it. But if you're not in the Apple ecosystem, the experience is still good, just not special. You lose some features, some customization, and that magic feeling. The earbuds don't suddenly become bad, but you're clearly not getting the full value. So this is important to say, these earbuds make the most sense if you're already using Apple devices. Battery life is another area where Apple made solid improvements, but again, without exaggeration. In real-world use, they're reliable. You can get through long listening sessions without worrying about running out of battery. With the case, you can easily go several days depending on how you use them. This isn't record-breaking battery life, but it's consistent and predictable. And honestly, that's what most people want. Charging is fast, and overall, battery anxiety is not an issue here. Now let's talk about controls and usability. The touch and pressure controls are responsive and accurate. You don't accidentally trigger actions all the time, which is something that still happens with many other earbuds. Everything feels intentional. And once you get used to the gestures, using them becomes second nature. Again, this isn't flashy, it's just well executed. Now, let's slow down for a second and talk about the downsides, because they do exist. First, the price. There's no way around it. These are expensive earbuds. You're paying not just for sound and features, but for the Apple ecosystem, design, and brand value. If you're purely looking for the best sound per dollar, there are alternatives that make more sense. Second, customization is still limited compared to some competitors. Apple keeps things simple, which is great for most users, but not ideal if you love tweaking every detail. And finally, innovation. If you already own the previous AirPods Pro and they're working fine, the upgrade might not feel urgent. The improvements are real, but they're evolutionary, not revolutionary. So, who are the AirPods Pro 3 actually for? They're for people who value ease of use, comfort, and a polished experience. They're for iPhone users who want earbuds that just work without friction. And they're for users who prioritize balanced sound, excellent noise cancellation, and top-tier transparency mode. They're not for people chasing the lowest price. They're not for people who want extreme customization. And they're not for users outside the Apple ecosystem looking for maximum value. But if you fall into the right category, they're genuinely excellent. They don't try to impress you with gimmicks. They focus on making everyday listening better, and that's why so many people keep choosing them. If you want to check current prices or see how they compare with other options, I'll leave the links in the description below. And as always, if you're into honest reviews, no hype, no extremes, feel free to stick around. That's what this channel is all about.